Hey y'all, I'm Hope here at Crafty Hope and welcome. I received some fun films from Grafixarts.com to play with. So this first one you're seeing is some of their matte stencil. Oh, what's it called? Matte stencil film, y'all. Now you can draw on this, trace it, die cut it. It is heat resistant. And as you can see, I am using my laser cutter. So I used a program called Lightburn to design a couple of stencils and then took it to my 80-watt OmTech laser. I used a speed of 300 and a max power of 25 to cut this matte stencil film. I recommend if you're going to use a laser cutter that you kind of look at what the wattage of yours is and what's kind of recommended for a similar machine for a Duralar material. So I made this star stencil, and you're going to see here I also created this sunburst. Now the sunburst is not a great stencil. I didn't think about the center needing like a connection point, so you may see in a little while that it's so that's the matte stencil film. Those are the two. Yeah, you can see I put a sticker dot in the middle of that starburst. One of the other things I received is the 6x6 mixed media journal. Now I wanted this journal because it has 5 of their different films along with their chipboard on the front and back cover. So I wanted to play with each and every one of the films in there. So this first film I am using is the wet media Duralar. It's clear, it's pretty thin, it's 0.004. I don't know. I don't know if that's inches. I think that's inches. I don't know. Anyway, it's wet media, so I am using just some gold craft paint, and I've got a cosmetic wedge there and my star stencil. I have placed this on some black construction paper, as you can see, to make it easier for you to see and for me to see. And yeah, it was just a better idea to work on so I could see that gold. I'm holding the stencil as still as I can on top of this, and I'm not getting like a super consistent coverage on here. Like I'm getting all the stars, but in some places it's a little bit lighter and a little bit darker in others, and that's fine by me because it's kind of the stars. They twinkle and shine, and you know, some are brighter than others. So this really took no time to dry, which I think is pretty awesome, but I'm going to put it aside anyway. Actually, I'm going to put it back in that journal. Now, I don't know if you saw when I pulled that piece out of the journal, but it pops back in super easy. All of these pages, I think, are super awesome because you can rearrange each and every one of these films in any order you want. And this project I'm doing here, I can take out pages or put pages in or move them around or use them for something else, and I think that's pretty stinking awesome. Now the next 2 pages I pull out are the opaque Duralars. I've got the black one and the white one. These are the Duralar Brights, and they're a 0.01 size. They take quite a few mediums as well, including watercolor and alcohol inks. And since this is the black piece I'm starting with, I'm using a variety of alcohol inks, and I've written down what colors I used, and I'm going to just tell you what colors in case you're interested. With the black, of course, it's going to work best if you've got like a metallic or some kind of iridescent on it. So I am using a snow cap mixative along with the alcohol ink so that you can see those. Now, I kind of wish I had done a gold mixative instead of the white on this black because it would have kind of gone with the stars we just did. But really, I think this probably works out better because the white just kind of makes it so you can see that without adding the extra sparkle. So anyway, on this black page, I'm using Dandelion, which is the yellow, Raspberry, which is part of the Brights line that used to be around, Pool, which was also a Brights, and Wild Plum. The mixative, like I said, is Snow Cap. Now I'm going to do the white page here in a little bit, and to that one I add Lettuce and and I do use the gold mixative as well here in a little bit. So I'm using this air pump thing. I'm sure you can also use like a straw and blow through it, and I'm just using it to move these alcohol inks around. Now I've got a fine point jar there, that thing that has rubbing alcohol in it along with a sprayer you can see up in the upper right that I'll be using as well. And that's just to help me move these alcohol inks around a little bit more. Now, I do have a video over on the Grafix site, or the Grafix YouTube, that went up today. It's a very condensed version of this video. It doesn't include this additional footage of me covering the whole page of black Duralar. So that's what you get bonus here on mine, but I do encourage you to go check out and follow the Grafix YouTube channel, because there's all kinds of great videos of other artists and how they use these different films and some of the Grafix products you can get. I'm still new to these products and I keep finding new products. I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. Ooh, I want to try that. So yeah, I encourage you to definitely go check that out and follow them and see some of the great projects that are over there. And they can be applied to lots of other surfaces, but the Grafix products themselves are pretty neat. Now there, I think you could see I used the spray bottle of alcohol and really got that stuff moving. And I'm adding more of the alcohol inks, but without the mixative there, just to kind of make things blend. It was getting a little orangey there, and I'm not big on orange. That's not what I wanted. For this page, what I really wanted was to have like that galaxy cosmos kind of feel to it. So I'm going to finish this up, and you can see I've pulled out there that gold mixative. So I am going to use it in just a minute when I finally get done moving around some of these inks. So I'm putting that gold mixative down on a piece of palette paper. I'm going to grab a fairly small, what do you call it? Paintbrush. Of course, I'm going to dip it in some alcohol in that spray bottle because I didn't think to get any out, and just splatter that there. So I do get the gold in this. And what I will do as well is grab a, I use the stem of that spray bottle to just splatter some just the clear, alcohol ink on there. So I give it a second here to let some of that gold dry, but then yeah, right on there with that stem nozzle thing. So I will put aside my black page now and give it a little bit a chance to dry. And I'm going to move over to the white one. Now, I don't know if you saw my hands there, y'all, but it was covered with alcohol ink. So I do encourage you, if you don't want the ink on your hands, do put some gloves on or some kind of barrier or something like that. But if you know me, I'm just going to jump in there with it. I am also working on top of a stack of paper towels to kind of protect my surface and that kind of thing. So for this white piece of Duralar, I decided to go in and put the colors in the like rainbow order that I wanted. I really kind of wish I hadn't. I wish I'd put just maybe 2 down at a time, but I'm doing really the same method. And so, yeah, same thing. Put the colors down, add a little bit of alcohol to it, and then use the sprayer to move it around. Now, this was all an experiment for me. The products themselves, the Duralar, the Grafix Duralar pages, and using them on alcohols, this is all new to me. I did practice a little bit on some Yupo, which I believe is just Duralar. So but you know, this isn't something I've ever done, and I was really nervous going in, like, oh, what if I mess it all up? Now, I don't know if you can see in here, I am getting some muddiness. When I opened, I think that lettuce green alcohol ink, it had like some of the alcohol ink had dried on the cap, and so I opened it over my piece of Duralar. And y'all, those little colored crumbles kind of fell into like the yellow and the pink. And so I got some muddiness. But you'll see here in a little bit that I will take a paintbrush again with alcohol in it to help blend some of these things, as well as a paper towel to pick up some of it. So we're getting close to that point, I think. Okay, this is, y'all, I love this. Look what this does when I sprayed it with that alcohol. I think it's super cool. And look what I'm moving it around. I'm letting it kind of do its thing. Here's where I take that paintbrush and I'm trying to like blend out. You could see one of the yellow circles there, just it wasn't moving. But I'm trying to connect some of these different little things, looking at where I need more color. I think I add a drop of blue somewhere, and there comes my paper towel to kind of like pick up some of that muddiness I wasn't digging. But y'all, the brightness of this on this white Durlar is super fun. I love this page. So I think I'm gonna add some more blue to this. I honestly do. So after I get that added, I will pull out again that, do I add the gold? No, I don't add the gold. I will get that stem out of the spray bottle and splatter it on there just to give a little more movement and some cells on there. So I'm thinking, I'm moving things around. I'm trying to let it dry just a little bit before I do that splatter, because I was afraid that it would just do that like bubbling and condensing. So at this point I'm like, okay, just go for it. See what happens. So I splatter, and you can look at what that did, y'all. That's super cool. So I let those dry. And I'm going to pop them I'm going to pop the white one. It's the last page in this little selection I have of the 5 pages I'm doing. So I'm putting that in the back, and then underneath underneath my starry one, I'm going to do that black one so the stars show up. Look at that. Isn't that super awesome, y'all? I love that. And that's what I really wanted to do with this journal, was to make a layered thing. So because the black is opaque, I am going to need to make a hole in here. So I have picked out a vintage photo of a girl in like her prom dress, and I've got this circle template. And I'm trying to figure out like where I want that circle. And while I hold that template, I'm going to grab, this is a metallic marker, and just trace that circle right where I want it. Now I could have done a circle the same size and cut it on the laser cutter and all of that, but I think that would have needed to be done before I put the alcohol ink down, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to put it yet. So this works just fine. I've got a cutting mat and my craft knife, and I'm turning that Durlar sheet around and cutting into it. Now, this was the first time I had tried this. I was really nervous and wasn't giving it quite enough pressure, but y'all, it didn't take much to pop it through. So you can see there that I was being really timid about it, and like, what if I mess up? And y'all, it's fine. You can see it's like popping up there. I had cut through it just perfectly fine. And I like that these pages come out, because you could see I could turn that. If I had tried to do that with like a whole regular journal, that can be kind of cumbersome. And the fact that these pages pop out made it so much easier. Now, my cuts were not, told you I was being super timid. My cuts weren't great, so I'm just going back in and cleaning that up a little bit. And it was super easy to do. That Durlar cut so great with that craft knife that it was, And if you're more skilled, I think, with a craft knife than I am, I don't think you'll have any problems at all. All right, so I'm going to grab that last little bit and pop it back in the journal so that everything is getting lined up. Yep, look, I'm super happy with that. So the next page, you can kind of see when I pop this back in, the next page that I've got in there, I'm trying to look at my notes so I can remember exactly what it was. It is another piece. It is the 0.01 clear Durlar. It is traditionally really good for permanent inks and markers. So again, an alcohol ink or some kind of permanent marker, it would be great on. But I liked it. It's thicker than that first piece of Wet Media Durlar we have, and I liked the sturdiness of it. So I thought it was going to be a great way to make my picture float on here. So I did cut off the border from my vintage photo here, and then pulled out that double tack mounting film. Now this is basically like a double-sided tape. It's got like stencil, what do you call it? Not stencil, sticker paper, on the front and back, so that it's covering it. And so I traced my photo down to size, and I'm going to cut this bit of the mounting film down and peel up just a portion of it so that I can line up my photo across the edge before peeling the whole thing up. I just thought this was the easiest way to do it. So I really like this. And basically, y'all, I am turning this photo into a sticker. How cool is that? And it works on a variety of different surfaces. I mean, pretty much anything you've got, I suppose you could put this double tack on. Now, there is another adhesive I'm going to use here in just a little bit, and I'll show you that, and I'm super excited about it as well. I do love my adhesive, y'all. If you've been around here long enough, you know. I like the right adhesive for the job. So now I can fussy cut my girl out and get all of that background away so that the background I've created, which is, as you can see, that alcohol ink back there is, you know, can actually be in the background. So I think this is super awesome. So now since I did cut her and she's got those white edges, I am going to ink her up with some walnut stain distress ink in my ink blender, just real quick. I like to have that finishing touch there. I'll bring that back in a little bit. And I'm going to clean up my desk real quick and move my mixed media journal and kind of line up where I want my girl. Figure out exactly where she is. I've got her kind of lined up on the bottom. And when I get her there, I'm going to hold her down or try to keep her in place. And all I need to do is peel up that back. So I'm going to hold her in place. I started to do the top, but I was like, you know what? It's a lot easier to line up the bottom because it's that straight edge. So I'm going to peel up that little bit of the sticker paper there, stick her along the edge. And you may notice in the picture I didn't get her straight along the edge. That's just because y'all know I'm no perfectionist. So I've got her on there. We're going to come back to this page in a minute because she is my like focal piece, and I will need to add a sentiment. But first I wanted to do something else, and what that is, I've got this piece, which is the, what's it called? It's the matte Duralar, kind of like the stencil material we used. It's not completely see-through, and it's a great drawing surface on both sides. It'll take lead, ink, charcoal, paint, colored pencil, all kinds of stuff. But y'all, I'm going to use that Starburst stencil and some spray paint. So I did take it outside and lay it on a piece of newspaper and just sprayed it. It did not take long for this to dry at all. I was able to peel it up within a minute or so. And look at that. How fun is that? Now you can see my little dot because I knew that was the center of my girl, and I just wanted the starburst emanating from my girl that I'm putting in there. And I'm popping it right back in. So nothing else had to get damaged or messed up or anything because I was able to pull that out, pop it right back in. Super cool. All right, so look how she has that starburst. So while I was off camera, I did go and type up a sentiment, which I believe says, "You shine brighter than all the stars in the sky." And I'm going to cut it down. I'm actually going to leave the torn edge a lot across the top there. I really like that. And I'm going to ink these real quick again with my... I tore it down just a little. Yeah, but the other edges are cut and that top edge is torn. I didn't like how much was up there. So I'll ink these. And the thing I'm going to pull in next is called Artist-Tac. Now, y'all, this stuff is super cool. It's kind of like the mounting film, and there's several layers of paper. And you'll have to pull up one of the layers. Well, it's kind of like two pieces of paper. And in between them are all these tiny dots of adhesive. So you kind of have to pull it apart and look at it, and you can see which side the little dots are on. So here's this piece of paper. And I'm making sure that this is cut down to size and what I need, and I don't need to cut it down anymore. But I pull that up, and I'm going to stick those sentiments right in there. This works great with all kinds of fiddly things. That's the best way I can put that. Anything you've got that's small. Kind of want to try like flower petals in this and see if it works. It may tear, but flower petals, that's what they do. But you burnish it down, and when you pull it up, it is sticky on the back. So you've turned this also into a stencil. Now, granted, I could have used the mounting film, but that would have been, you know, cutting it down and all of that. Whereas this, it coated the whole back surface. So I think this works great on something especially kind of thin. I want to try it on some other materials, but for now, this worked out great. And I'm burnishing those down. And that's on that Duralar. So once I get that down, y'all, that's it. I have this 5-layered art journal or mixed media journal pages. I really love it. I love that you can see all of the colors through all 5 layers right there. And if I wanted to rearrange them and do something else in one of those, I just pop a page out and put it somewhere else. I love it. I hope you do too. Like I said, please go check out the grafixarts.com site and let me know what you think. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see y'all later with more crafty stuff. Bye.